Hey guys, welcome back to Can I Sharpen? Today we're going to be sharpening the StatTrak Gut Knife from CSGO. You'll recognise this if you play the computer game, PC game CSGO. It's a knife that I unboxed in my first unboxing video. Very nice knife, very comfortable. It's 9 inches long overall, and it has a 4 and 3/4 inch blade on it. It's full tang, really nice, goes all the way through and has a nice wood finish to the handles. Overall, it's a very nice knife. The only problem is with it, it's not that sharp, so we're going to get it nice and sharp. I'll just do a quick cut test on it. So I've got a bit of magazine paper here, just see how it goes. So it does go through pretty well, but as you can see there, it does have some pulling on it. It's giving little divots on it, and it's really making a little bit of a mess of the paper itself. It's sharper than I remember, but it's not. Yeah, you see, it's not as sharp as I would like it to be. We're going to try and resolve that, try and get that fixed up, and make it so we can get it so razor sharp, so you can shave with it if you want to, run it along your hair and shave that off. First thing we're going to try is one of these. This is something you find in most people's kitchens. It's sort of a push down and pull manual knife sharpener. I don't think they're very good. Never really rated them. I own one just because I've had one for a long time. This is about 5-6 years old, this thing. Don't really use it anymore, but just for the purposes of the video, we will give it a go and see how it turns out. It's basically the case of you place your knife in the slot. It's already got, you won't be able to see it, but inside inside that slot there are predetermined little, I believe they're ceramic on this one, ceramic little blades that cross over, and you run your knife through the middle of those, and it's meant to sharpen it. So it'll turn the edge from, say, that into that. So as you use a knife, the edge itself will blunt off, and it'll go into more of a convex edge, so you want it nice and sharp, and that's what this is designed to do. So we're just going to pull it through this a couple of times and see if it makes any difference at all. Don't think it will. Generally these sort of things will more often than not ruin your blade rather than sharpening it, but we'll see what we can do. So just a case of applying light pressure to it, pulling it through. As you can hear, it's grinding slightly. It's not designed to take any material off, but it's meant to sort of hone the edge more than anything else. There you go, that was about 5 or 6 swipes through it. I don't think it will have made much difference at all, but we do have another piece of paper just to see if it's done anything. Yeah, as I thought, it's actually made the knife worse rather than giving it a better edge. So these sort of things, really cannot recommend them. They tend to ruin knives rather than make them better. So if you've got one of these, throw it away. My personal opinion, not great at all. You're much better off getting a Whetstone sharpening kit, or even an electric sharpener. You can get a few electric sharpeners that will get your knives nice and sharp. But really, if you want to get them razor sharp, best thing you can use is Whetstones. So that's what we're going to use today. We're going to get our Whetstones out, and we're going to run this knife over them and get this knife nice and sharp. So I've got my Whetstones here. These are already pre-soaked, so they are nice and wet. This stone is an Iemu stone. It's a cheap stone. Nothing too special about it at all. It's got 2 grits on it, which you can see by the colours. The dark blue is a 240 grit, and the sort of greeny light blue is an 800 grit. So that's one of the stones. And then we've got another stone here, same brand, just didn't put the labelling on it. So it's a 2000 grit and a 6000 grit. So what you do firstly, if you put in a new edge on the knife completely, you'd use the 240 grit. That grinds away a lot of material, gets it nice and ground down to get a new edge on it. And then you can work up through the gradients from there. But as soon as this already has an edge on it, we're going to start with the 800 just to clean it off a little bit, get the sort of flakes of metal off there, get everything nice and clean, and then we'll move straight to the 2000 to start sort of polishing and honing the edge, and then onto the 6000 to get a really nice finish on it. After that point, you can hone it on a leather strap as well. That will get the actual the edge of the blade, the bevel of the blade, mirror finish. It will look really well polished and look very nice. But we're not going to do that with this knife, as that's not how it was sent out. All we're doing is just restoring the edge, making it so it's really nice and pretty and really razor sharp. So we'll move this stone out of the way, and we'll start with this one. Right, so I always like to put a little bit of water on the stone first. I've just got a squidgy bottle. This is one I bought from a high street store called Wilkinson's. People from the UK will know that. So all you do, squirt a little bit of water on there, make sure it's nice and wet. With this blade, with it being a working blade, we want to put a 20-degree angle on it. So if you imagine that's 90 degrees, half that 45, half that again is 22.5. So we want to be around that sort of level. And it's just literally a case of pulling the knife back and working the edge. You can do it two ways. You can do it forward, so you're going along the grain of the knife, or you can pull it back. But I like to do it sort of edge following, so that the edge is following the hilt of the back of the blade. It just gets you in better practice for using strops, because you can't draw a knife forward on a strop. You can only pull it backwards, because if you pull it forward, it'll just cut into the leather and it'll damage your strop, and we want to avoid that as best we can. So we're going to do 20 strokes on one side, 20 strokes on the other, reduce that down to 15, then 10, then 5, then 2, then 1, and then we'll move on to the next stone, and we'll keep doing that over and over again. So I'm going to speed the video up while we're doing this, because it does get a little bit boring. So once I've done once I've graded it down on this one, I'll come back to yourselves, explain what we're doing next, and go from there. So we're going to start with the 800 grit, and we're going to work through it 20 times, 15, 10, 5, 2 and 1. Move on to the next stone, do it again, do the same, move on to the next stone, do the same. So yeah, here we go. So we're going to move from the 800 to the 2000 stone. This is where it's going to start really defining the edge and getting things working really well. So yeah, so as I said earlier, this is the 2000 grit, which means we can start really sort of defining that edge, getting things really nice and sharp, and then we can move on to the 6000 to start polishing up. So same again, 20 strokes and 20 strokes, 15, 10, 5, 2 and 1 on both sides. So we do it one way, then the other, and then we'll do the same again on the 6000 grit. So we'll get started. I can really start to feel it form a nice edge on this blade at this point. So yeah, it's getting to the point where it's going to be cutting through that paper. Ow, that's quite sharp. Really well. So what we're going to do now is turn this stone over, go from the 2000 grit to the 6000 grit. From this point, the knife itself will start to get really sharp. It's going to be polishing the edge, making it sort of razor sharp, and then when we do the cut test, once we've dried everything down, you'll see just exactly how sharp this knife is. So I'm just going to apply a bit of water, wash the stone off a little bit, because it did get a little bit of dirt on it, well, a bit of metal grinding and stone grinding off it from the last stroke. So once again, 20, 10, 15, 10, 5, 2 and 1. Now you might not be able to see it, but on my stone here there's quite a deep little groove. This is where I was a little bit careless. I got distracted from my cat, and while I was honing the edge of the blade, and as I pushed it through, I just dug in ever so slightly, and it will sort of mark your stone. You can get rid of that. You can use a stone flattener. It's just another lower grit stone that you run over it. For the purposes of this particular knife, they're not really too fussed about doing that, because it's not super important we get this sharp. So I'm just running my thumb over the edge of the blade. I can feel the burr coming up on the side that I've just sharpened. With that being the case, the knife is getting really nice and sharp. So now we're going to run it the other way and get this going again. So 20 more strokes on this side, turn it over 15, etc., and work our way down. Now you'll notice on the push stroke that I'm doing for the back side of this, I do a little J. This is something I picked up from one of the fellow YouTube sharpeners called Perfection. It just lets you get the edge of the knife into the stone properly. It gives you more of an angle that you can follow. Just a little technique that I picked up that I quite like, and I've been following it ever since. So it's put a lot of black onto the stone itself. It's really visible on this particular stone. That's just super fine shavings of the metal, just getting it so it's basically wearing the burr away. So the fine burr that appears on the edge, where when you sharpen a knife, you sharpen it like this, and as you sharpen down one side, the other side will start to keel over, and you sort of want to keep swapping that until it gets to a point where it's disappeared and it's really nice and sharp. So that's what we're doing on this stone at this point. So we've just done 20 strokes on the up, so back down to 15 on this one. Now with this particular stone, what we're going to do is we're going to just run it up and down, just doing one stroke one way, one stroke the other, probably about 10 times, just to work that edge finely through, and then from there this knife should be really nice and sharp. We'll do the paper test once we've dried everything off. I'm just going to go back, 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 back about 10 times just to get a nice edge on this. Okay, so I think this knife is really nice and sharp, so I'm going to move the stone out of the way, get things dried up, and then we'll come back and we'll do a paper test on this, so just give us a second or so. Okay, so that's cleaned off, so we're going to go back to the magazine paper and just see if it's made any difference to the knife itself. So here we are again with the magazine paper, so we're just going to test this and see how sharp this knife now is. I think I've got this paper a bit wet, it doesn't want to cut at all. Just give us 2 seconds, let me just try another piece. Alright guys, really sorry about that, got everything dried up. Yeah, those pieces of paper were quite wet. So I've just got an ordinary sheet of paper here, I couldn't find anything else. You can see there's a little spot of water on there, but nothing too much to worry about at all because we're not going to be cutting through that. So as we can see, this knife has now got, yeah, it's pulling a little bit, but compared to that household sharpener, we've been able to bring the edge back to near what it was out of the box. It's not doing great. To be fair, we could do with spending quite a bit more time on this, just to get things back up to as they were, but compared to the household sharpener, which is what we were looking to do on this one, run the compare, it is a whole lot better. So with that being the case, that's the end of the video today. If you do like what you see and want to see more, please subscribe to us at Can I Sharpen. Click the like button, click subscribe. The more followers and the more views we get, the better content we can create for everyone. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.